Deep in the quiet black of space, the alien exploration fleet drifted in high orbit above a glowing blue world that spun slowly in the darkness, its surface almost fully wrapped in endless oceans and scattered clouds and bright reflections from a distant sun. The main observation deck was silent as the crew stared at the display screens where alien sensors painted a chilling picture. The oceans were deep beyond measure, with layers of crushing pressure far heavier than anything their ships could endure, and strange signals whispered up from far below the surface, signals that no one could explain. The alien captain stood rigid, his eyes fixed on the shimmering curve of the planet below, his voice low but firm as he ordered a full retreat. Every species in the known galaxy knew the truth of such places. Water worlds were death worlds. Around him, the crew exchanged uneasy glances, and the low hum of the ship felt colder than usual. There were whispers spreading through the control room, whispers of old legends and old fears. They spoke of monsters born in the crushing dark, creatures so large they could swallow ships whole, predators with eyes that could see in the blackness and teeth sharp enough to tear steel. And there were the invisible killers, tiny, unseen shapes that could slip into bodies and in life in moments, all hiding in the cold deep. For the alien races of the galaxy, such planets were untouchable, nothing worth risking lives, nothing worth challenging. The oceans were the realm of the unknown, and the unknown meant death. The captain's order rang again, and navigators began plotting the jump coordinates. The fleet's engines hummed louder, ready to flee the sight of the blue planet and its silent warning. Yet even as they prepared to turn away, a ripple of light cut across the darkness. A sudden flash filled the far side of the planet, and from hyperspace, a single human ship emerged, sleek and silver, cutting through the void with the calm of a predator that knew it was safe. The humans hailed. No one sent, no request. They simply took orbit, as if the dangers below were nothing more than waves in the wind. The alien crew froze in disbelief, their screens tracking the human vessel as it moved without hesitation, their scanners reporting activity on its lower decks, cargo hatches opening, smaller crafts being prepped for descent into the atmosphere, every move casual, every gesture confident. No one could understand it, no one could believe what they were seeing, for the galaxy had long accepted that water planets meant only one thing, certain death. The alien first officer turned to the captain, speaking in a low voice that carried the weight of fear and disbelief. "Do they not know what waits below?" he asked, "or are they so reckless they do not care?" On the main screen, the image sharpened, showing the human crew inside the landing craft, their faces calm, their movements deliberate. Not one carried the heavy armor that alien soldiers would wear into hostile environments. Instead, they carried tools and strange devices that looked light and harmless. They wore light suits, flexible and made for movement. A few alien officers stepped closer to the viewing glass. Unable to look away, the captain's claws gripped the arm of his chair, his voice, almost a growl, ordered them to turn back. But the humans were not on his comms, and even if they were, the look in their eyes said they would not listen. The human ship moved into position, and the landing craft detached, dipping down into the upper atmosphere. With a flash of orange heat, the blue planet filled the view, growing larger as the clouds thickened and the endless oceans stretched in all directions. Silver lines marked the wakes of storms far below, and lightning danced deep inside a hurricane that spun like a giant white eye. Whispers turned to sharp arguments across the alien control room. The science officers reminded everyone of the crushing pressures that would tear apart hulls, the toxins in the water that could burn skin and metal, alike the predators that hunted in the black. Yet none of it seemed to matter to the humans, who continued their descent with unshaken hands. In the calm corner, one alien officer spoke in a low hiss to another. "This is madness. They will never return. No one returns from the deep." A shiver seemed to pass through the crew as the human craft broke through the clouds, racing toward the vast ocean below. And that was when one alien voice rose above the rest, a young ensign, eyes wide as he spoke his words sharp with certainty. "If they go down there, they will never return." But the humans only smiled. From a main feed, the alien crew could see it clearly. The humans were grinning, as if the thought of danger brought them some hidden joy, as if they had been waiting for this challenge. All along, the landing craft adjusted its course, heading for a vast whirlpool that spun like a gateway into the heart of the ocean, each turn of the water pulling them closer to the unknown. The alien captain felt the weight of the moment pressing on him. The instincts of his species screamed to run, to escape the curse of the blue planet. Yet something in the human's calm movements made it impossible to look away. He had seen warriors face battle with courage, but this was something else, something stranger. It was not bravery born of desperation. It was confidence born of knowledge the galaxy did not have. The human craft descended lower, the waves towering like mountains around it, spray and foam lashing the hull. As the engines roared through the storm, the alien sensors picked up massive shapes moving beneath the water, their size impossible to believe, and yet the humans did not turn. They went straight toward them, as if the monsters were only markers on a map. One alien officer whispered the word impossible, another answered with the same word, and yet no one turned away from the screen. The whole control room, now silent, except for the hum of the engines and the crackle of static from the atmosphere. The captain leaned forward, unable to stop himself from trying to read the humans' expressions one last time before they vanished into the storm. The last image before the ocean swallowed them was of the human pilot glancing toward the onboard camera, his face calm, his eyes sharp, and his mouth forming the ghost of a grin. Then the waves closed, and the craft was gone. Silence filled the alien deck, and the fleet hung still above the world below. No one moved, no one spoke. The blue planet turned slowly in the darkness, its oceans hiding secrets older than the stars the humans had gone down to meet them, and the galaxy could only wait to see if they would return. Far below the surface, the human vessel moved like a silver arrow cutting through the darkness, while the alien fleet stayed far above in silent orbit, afraid to even look too long at the deep blue sphere that had claimed so many before. The human crew wore heavy suits and strange helmets, their voices calm as they spoke to each other, while water closed around them in a slow, heavy embrace. The alien commander watched the feed from a safe distance, each image sent by tiny probes that followed the human ship from above like nervous birds shadowing a predator. The ocean stretched endlessly in every direction. The light from the surface faded until only the glow of the human vessel lit the black walls of the deep. The aliens whispered among themselves, saying no one could survive down there for long. The crushing weight would shatter any ship, and the creatures that live in the abyss were said to be older than the stars themselves. The human ship pressed deeper, passing jagged cliffs and massive canyons that seemed to fall forever. One alien officer turned away, unable to watch, believing each moment would be the human's last, but the human captain smiled, as if this was nothing more than a calm stroll in a park. Suddenly, the sonar of the human ship picked up movement ahead, something massive and moving fast through the dark. It was unlike any shape the aliens had seen before, long and sleek, with 1,000 flickers of light along its body. The alien crew tensed, waiting for the attack, yet the humans simply adjusted their course and spoke into their comms with steady voices. The alien commander leaned forward, wondering if they had even noticed the danger. The humans did not turn back. Instead, they increased speed, heading toward the signal, as though chasing at the alien fleet could only watch, powerless to intervene, their fear mixing with confusion. As the humans moved deeper, still the water around the human vessel grew thicker, colder, heavier, yet their systems showed no sign of strain. It was as if their ship was built for this place. Then the dark ahead opened into a massive trench, the walls glowing faintly with strange patterns, as if alive. The alien fleet had never recorded such a sight before. Ancient myths spoke of living gates deep under oceans, guarding the paths to other worlds. The humans paused just at the edge, the captain speaking in a low tone, as if addressing an old friend. The alien commander strained to hear, but the words were too soft. Suddenly, the massive, glowing creature appeared again, this time rising from the trench, its eyes like suns, its body coiling in slow waves around the human vessel. The alien fleet held their breath, waiting for destruction. Instead, the humans extended some kind of device, releasing a stream of light into the water. The creature seemed to pause, studying the humans with silent understanding. Then slowly, it retreated into the depths, leaving only the glow of the trench behind. The aliens could not believe it. No one had ever faced such a thing and lived. The humans, however, acted as though this was exactly what they had expected. They began moving toward the trench entrance. Without hesitation, the alien commander shouted into the comms, warning them to stop, saying that nothing had ever returned from such places. But the humans did not answer. they simply vanished into the glowing depths, leaving the alien fleet staring into the darkness where their signal slowly faded. Whispers filled the alien control room, now mixed with awe and disbelief. Some said the humans were already dead, others claimed they were hunting something even worse than the creature they had just met. The alien commander could not decide which thought was more terrifying, the idea that the humans were gone or the idea that they were still moving deeper with purpose. Minutes passed with no sign, then hours. The alien fleet debated leaving the system, yet something kept them in place, as if they too were now caught in whatever strange hunt the humans had begun. Then at last a faint signal returned from deep below. The humans were alive and moving upward. The alien commander leaned closer to the screen, expecting to see damage or panic. Instead, the human vessel was intact, carrying something large in its hold. The image was too dark to see clearly, but it pulsed with a strange blue light. The humans rose through the dark waters with steady purpose. The alien commander opened a channel, demanding to know what they had found. The human captain looked into the feed and smiled a smile that made even the bravest alien on the bridge feel cold. Then, without explaining, they cut the channel and kept climbing toward the surface. The alien fleet was left with only one thought, that whatever the humans had brought back from the trench would change everything. When the human vessel broke the surface, the ocean around it seemed to ripple unnaturally, as if the water itself feared what was inside. The alien sensors struggled to read the object in their hold, its energy signature unlike anything known in the galaxy. The human captain simply waved once toward the alien fleet before setting course for open space, leaving without another word. The alien commander felt a strange weight settle in his chest, not from fear of the planet, but from fear of the humans who saw opportunity where all others saw only death and darkness. The alien fleet followed the human ship at a distance across the silent black of space, the strange blue object still glowing faintly in the hold, its light pulsing like the slow beat of some living heart. The alien commander felt torn between fear and curiosity. He ordered constant scans, yet every reading came back confused, as if the object bent reality around itself. Even the most advanced sensors flickered with static whenever they tried to focus on it. The humans seemed unaffected, moving with the same steady calm that had carried them through the abyss of the ocean world before. Rumors spread quickly through the alien fleet crews, whispering that the humans had awakened something that should never leave the deep water. Others claimed the object was a key, a relic left by an ancient species that had ruled the seas before any known civilization. The alien commander listened in silence, knowing that no one truly understood what they had seen. He remembered the way the massive, glowing creature had retreated at the sight of the human device, and how the trench itself had seemed to welcome them. It made no sense. The human vessel did not head toward the nearest station or neutral port. Instead, it turned toward an uncharted sector far from trade lanes and military patrols. The alien commander recognized the coordinates only from old forbidden records, a system marked as unstable, with a single small star and a scattering of half-drowned worlds, their surfaces covered in endless storms and violent tides. The alien fleet hesitated, yet still followed, keeping their distance like hunters tracking a predator. Hours passed in silence until the humans entered orbit around a world of swirling silver clouds and dark oceans that seemed to stretch forever. Lightning danced across the surface in long, jagged lines. The alien sensors warned of storms strong enough to tear metal apart. The commander watched as the human vessel descended through the clouds, disappearing into the chaos below. The alien fleet stayed above, unwilling to enter the storm, their feed showing only flashes of light where the human ship had vanished. Inside the storm, the humans moved with precision, their vessel cutting through the wind and waves as if guided by something unseen. The blue object in their hold began to glow brighter, its light spreading through the ship like veins of fire. The crew showed no fear, their voices calm and measured as they prepared for something the alien commander could not guess. Then a deep vibration rolled through the planet itself. The clouds pulsed outward as if the entire world had taken a single massive breath. The alien fleet above felt it too, their ships shuddering under the invisible wave of energy. Something was awakening beneath the oceans far below. They watched in disbelief as a vast ring of light began to rise from the water, stretching miles across each segment, glowing with the same blue fire. As the object the humans carried the storm above, it seemed to calm, as if bowing before the thing that emerged. The human ship was now at the center of the ring, their lights merging with its ancient glow. The alien commander realized too late that this was no natural formation. It was a gate, and the object was the key. The humans had come not to study it, but to open it. As the ring reached full brightness, the water inside its circle began to sink, as if an entire sea was draining into some hidden place. The human vessel moved with it, vanishing below the surface once again. The alien fleet was torn between retreat and pursuit, yet none could bring themselves to leave. They watched the light fade from the ring, leaving only the black ocean behind. Hours stretched into a tense stillness, until finally the surface began to boil. The human vessel burst upward, riding a massive surge of water, something huge following in its wake. The alien sensor screamed with warnings, yet none of the readings made sense. The shape behind the humans was not metal nor flesh, but something in between, its surface shimmering like liquid, yet holding a form that seemed to shift with every glance. The humans led the creature into orbit, where it hovered silently beside their ship. The alien commander could only stare as the humans transmitted a short signal in universal code that said simply "resource secure." The meaning was unclear, yet the tone carried the same cold certainty as before. Whatever this thing was, the humans believed it valuable. The alien fleet held position, weapons ready, but the humans made no move to threaten them. Instead, they set a course for deep space, and the creature followed, moving as if tethered to their will. The alien commander ordered one final scan, and the results sent a chill through every soul aboard. The readings showed that the creature was not alive in any way they understood, yet it was not a machine either. It carried within a map, or perhaps a memory, thousands of points scattered across the galaxy, each marked with the same blue signature. The humans were not just exploring water worlds, they were collecting something, and this was only the beginning. As the human ship vanished into the dark, the alien fleet stayed adrift in silence. The commander, in knowing that every government, every military, every empire would soon hear of this, and none would know how to stop it, he thought of the deep trench, the glowing gates, the way the massive creature had bowed before the humans, and he understood that water worlds were not places of fear for them, but stepping stones towards something far greater. Far out beyond sensor range, the human captain sat in the command chair, watching the creature drift alongside the ship, its form calm, now its light dim. The crew worked in silence, their faces unreadable, yet there was a shared understanding between them, a mission that had only just begun. They had seen what lay beneath the water, what waited in the places other species dared not go, and they knew there were more worlds out there, each holding another key, another piece of a puzzle only humanity seemed willing to solve. In the far distance, a new signal began to pulse, faint but clear, another water planet calling to them, and the humans, without hesitation, set their course toward it, their ship vanishing once more into the endless dark, where fear had no hold and opportunity waited beneath the waves. The human ship moved through the dark between stars, its engines a faint hum in the void. The strange, shimmering creature still followed close behind, as if bound by an invisible chain. The crew did not speak much, their eyes fixed on the faint pulsing beacon, now guiding their course. It was coming from a region that few maps marked, a place where ancient warnings said space itself twisted like water currents, where ships that entered rarely returned. The human captain stared at the signal display, his mind calculating the route and the dangers ahead. His crew trusted him completely, for they all knew this was not just another mission, but part of a greater design. The alien fleet that had followed before was now far behind, though other watchers had taken their place, scattered listening posts and hidden probes quietly tracking the human vessel. These observers sent their reports back to their empires with urgency, each message filled with speculation about the blue light, the creature, and the strange gates on Waterworld. Still no one understood why humans were the only ones to step willingly into such depths. Even the oldest sea-dwelling alien species feared the crushing pressure, the unpredictable life forms, and the shifting currents that could hide predators the size of continents. Yet humans moved through them as if they belonged there. Days passed, and the beacon grew stronger until the ship dropped into orbit around a planet that was almost entirely ocean. Only a few chains of black stone islands broke the surface. The storms here were different, not chaotic, but slow and rhythmic, each wave rolling like the beat of some great heart. The human crew worked quickly, their movements sharp and efficient. The captain gave short commands as they prepared the blue object again, its glow stronger now, as if it sensed the nearness of something. Waiting below, the shimmering creature beside the ship rippled in response, its form shifting into long flowing shapes like strands of kelp caught in a current. The descent began, and the ship slid into the clouds, lightning curling around its hull. The water below stretched endlessly flat and dark, as if daring them to enter. Without warning, the surface broke open, and a vast circular whirlpool formed, its eye leading straight down into the abyss. The human vessel tilted and entered the spiral, moving with the pull rather than fighting it. The alien watchers who received the live feed gasped in disbelief, for no other crew in history would have chosen to ride such a deadly current instead of avoiding it. Down they went past the lightless depths where even alien sonar failed. Strange shapes moved in the dark, but none came close, as if the creature following the humans kept them away. Finally, the whirlpool released them into a vast underwater cavern, so large it could have held 100 cities. The walls were covered in structures of smooth black stone, each one etched with the same blue symbol seen on the previous gate. The crew maneuvered carefully toward the largest formation at the center, where a great sphere rested, its surface alive with faint pulses of light. The blue object from the ship was brought forward, its glow matching the rhythm of the sphere. The human captain gave a single nod, and the object was placed into a hollow at the sphere's heart. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire cavern shook, as if the planet itself had turned its gaze upon them. The sphere opened, revealing an interior filled with shimmering threads like liquid light flowing through invisible channels. Data flooded the human systems faster than any computer could record. The crew's eyes widened as they saw what the signals contained: maps of oceans, not just on this world, but across hundreds of systems, many unknown to any chart, and more than that, each map marked a hidden gate. The shimmering creature outside pressed itself against the cavern wall, its form stretching to match the symbols carved there. The humans realized it was reacting to the same energy as the sphere. The captain understood then that these creatures were not separate from the gates. They were part of them, living keys, shaped by some ancient intelligence to guard and guide the paths between worlds, each one bound to a network that spanned the galaxy. Perhaps more. The thought brought a quiet weight to the crew, for they knew this was not just exploration, it was awakening something that had been sleeping for eons. The data stream ended and the sphere closed its light, fading. The blue object, now dark once more, yet the maps remained burned into the human systems. They had the locations of more gates and more creatures, and perhaps answers to the question of who had built them. The captain gave the order to ascend, but as they rose through the water, the planet seemed unwilling to let them go. The currents shifted, and a deep sound rolled through the depths, a sound like the call of a whale, but far older. The shimmering creature beside them paused, then answered with a low ripple of light and motion. The current eased, and the path opened. Breaking through the surface, the ship rose into the clouds and returned to space. The alien watchers who had dared to follow stayed well back, none willing to risk approaching a vessel that now carried both forbidden maps and a guardian of unknown power. The captain sent no transmissions save for a single encrypted signal to a human outpost hidden in the asteroid belts. The message was short: target acquired, next phase to begin. Those words would later be intercepted by alien intelligence, but they would have no meaning without the full truth. In the quiet of the crew quarters, the humans rested, though none truly slept. Each of them thought of the other water worlds waiting and the ancient network that connected them. They knew the galaxy would soon realize the scale of what they had found. Empires would argue over control, some would prepare fleets, others would try to destroy the gates before humans could use them. Yet deep down the crew felt no fear, for they had been born to face the unknown, to dive where others hesitated, and to surface with treasures no one else dared to seek. Far ahead, the next beacon had already begun to pulse, faint and steady like a star winking in the dark. The captain watched it in silence, his mind already tracing the course between here and there, and wondering what guardian might be waiting, what secret might be hidden beneath waves, untouched for ages. The shimmering creature shifted beside the ship, as if sensing the same call. And in that moment, captain and crew understood that they were no longer just explorers. They were part of something vast, something alive that stretched across the galaxy like an endless ocean with currents yet to be sailed. And so they set their course, once more engines humming as the stars slid past, and the dark embraced them, carrying them toward the next deep, where the water would open its secrets and the gates of the ancient builders would turn once again for human hands. Beneath the rolling waves, the human divers pushed deeper into the twisting underwater canyons where the pressure was strong enough to crush metal, yet their strange suits held firm, glowing faintly in the deep blue light. Above them, alien drones floated in nervous silence, scanning every movement and transmitting images back to the orbiting fleet, where the alien captain stood frozen, watching the scene unfold with growing disbelief as each human stroke carried them into a world that, for the aliens, was the embodiment of death and darkness. The divers moved in perfect coordination, pointing to unusual rock shapes and strange pulsating lights far below, their voices calm over the comms, as if they were walking through a park rather than swimming through a graveyard of old legends. One alien science officer whispered that this area was marked in every star map as a forbidden zone, a place where ships had vanished without trace and where the waters were said to be haunted by ancient beasts that could tear through holes like paper. Yet the humans kept going unfazed as their lights cut through the thickening darkness, revealing vast cliffs covered in swaying alien plants that reached like fingers toward them. A large shadow moved in the distance, its outline impossible to read through the swirling particles, yet the humans reacted only by adjusting their paths, swimming toward it rather than away. While in the alien control room, several crew members looked away, unable to bear the tension of what they were witnessing. The shadow grew clearer until it resolved into a massive creature, shaped like a cross between a whale and a serpent, with glowing eyes and shimmering scales that reflected the faint light of the human suits. It circled them slowly, as if measuring their strength, and the alien crew on the ship above murmured in fear, expecting the attack that would surely come. Yet instead, the humans simply floated still, letting the creature approach without raising any weapon. The beast moved closer until it was within touching distance, and then, to the amazement of everyone, it tilted its massive head, allowing one human to place a hand on its scales. The comms filled with quiet words as the human spoke softly to it in a tone that no alien understood, but that the creature seemed to respond to. Suddenly, the creature turned and began to swim deeper into the canyon, pausing only to glance back, as if inviting the humans to follow. Without hesitation, they obeyed, vanishing into the blue darkness. After the beast, the alien captain barked orders to keep the scanners locked on them. Even as the readings began to falter the deeper, they went. Strange energy signals filled the screens, patterns that none of the alien scientists could explain, as if something vast and ancient was stirring far below the ocean floor. One alien analyst muttered that the energy was older than any recorded civilization, perhaps even older than the galaxy itself, but their voice trembled, as if speaking the thought aloud was dangerous. Minutes stretched like hours as the alien fleet waited, helpless to intervene, unable to pierce the deep with their own ships or drones for fear of destruction. Then, without warning, the scanners showed a vast open space far beneath the sea, a cavern the size of a city filled with glowing structures and strange movements like schools of enormous fish made of living light. The human divers swam inside, guided by the great beast, and as they moved, the lights in the caverns seemed to shift and change, forming patterns that could almost be language the alien crew could only watch, unable to hear or understand what was being exchanged, but sensing that some kind of communication was taking place. The beast swam to the center of the cavern, where a massive crystal-like formation jutted upward from the floor, glowing brighter with each passing moment. The human swam close, examining it with clear fascination. While in orbit, the alien scientists began shouting that the crystal's energy signature matched the strange signals detected earlier from orbit signals that might hold immense power or terrible danger. Yet the humans showed no hesitation. They placed small devices at the base of the crystal, not to harm it, but to scan and record every detail. The alien captain gripped the edge of the console, unsure whether to admire their bravery or fear what they might unleash. Then the cavern began to tremble, as if the ocean itself was reacting to their presence. The beast let out a deep rumbling sound, and the humans quickly finished their scans before beginning the long swim upward, guided once more by their strange ally. As they ascended, schools of glowing fish swirled around them, like a living escort. Their lights, dancing in the darkness above the alien crew, tracked their rise with relief, mixed with confusion, wondering how they had not only survived but made contact with something the aliens had believed to be pure myth. When the humans finally broke the surface, they emerged into a calm area of the sea where their ship was waiting. They climbed aboard, laughing and speaking in excited tones that carried even through the calm feed, their faces full of energy rather than fear. The alien captain stared at the screen in silence as the human leader held up a small device toward the camera, saying in a clear voice that the oceans were not what the aliens believed them to be, that the danger they feared was only part of the truth, and that there was something far greater waiting to be understood beneath the waves. The alien crew exchanged uneasy glances, for they could see it in the humans' eyes, the same look they had seen in stories and records. Whenever humans discovered a challenge, they would not rest until they conquered it. And this time the challenge was an entire ocean world filled with unknown forces and ancient mysteries. The captain finally spoke quietly, almost to himself, that if the humans claimed the oceans, they might claim more than just the planet. They might claim a power that could change the balance of the galaxy forever. And as he said it, the alien fleet drifted in uneasy silence, watching the human ship sail calmly toward the horizon of the endless sea, unaware of the eyes that still watched from the deep. The human ship moved across the vast ocean, its hull cutting through silver waves, under a sky the color of faded steel, while deep below, unseen currents carried whispers of the encounter to creatures that had lived in darkness. Since before the first stars were born, the alien fleet followed at a cautious distance, their scanners straining to pick up the faint energy trails left by the crystal cavern. The human leader stood on the deck, speaking softly to their crew, pointing toward a cluster of black storm clouds on the horizon, their words confident yet measured, as if they had already guessed that what waited there was far more than a weather system. In the alien command center, tension hung heavy. The captain ordered a continuous scan of the storm, noting that the readings were unlike any natural pattern. Lightning flickered inside the clouds, but the flashes moved in precise rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. The alien science officer muttered that such formations were thought to be gateways, unstable folds in space where time and distance became meaningless. The idea that such a thing could exist inside an atmosphere was enough to make several crew members stepped back from their stations, but the humans continued to sail directly toward it, showing no sign of hesitation. As they neared the edge of the storm, the wind rose in sharp bursts, sending sprays of water over the deck. Yet the human crew simply tightened their grips and adjusted their instruments. The alien fleet tried to warn them that approaching further could lead to certain destruction, but the human leader only replied with a calm message that if the gateway was there, then they intended to see where it led. The captain of the alien flagship clenched his jaw, knowing that forbidding them was useless, for humans were a species that saw every warning as an invitation. The storm swallowed the human vessel. In seconds, the alien fleet lost visual contact, their sensors scrambled by a wall of electromagnetic interference. Yet they kept their trajectory locked on the last known position. A heavy silence settled across the bridge, broken only by the crackle of static from the comm feed. Then a faint image appeared on one of the auxiliary screens, showing the human crew inside their control room, illuminated by ghostly light filtering through the portholes outside the windows. The ocean was gone, replaced by a shimmering expanse of shifting colors like the inside of a living prism. Shapes moved within it, fluid and translucent, their forms constantly changing and twisting as if they were made of liquid light. One alien officer gasped, saying the readings indicated they were no longer on the same planet, perhaps not even in the same star system. The energy signature matched nothing in known galactic charts, the human leader seemed unfazed, instead leaning forward to record everything while instructing their crew to prepare diving gear again. The alien captain could not believe what he was hearing, for they had just entered a place where no ship had returned, yet the humans were preparing to leave the safety of their craft once more. The divers plunged into the glowing waters, moving through liquid that felt more like air, their limbs free, yet surrounded by an unseen current that carried them gently deeper. Vast shapes swam past them, some resembling creatures from Earth's oceans, others unlike anything that existed in known biology. Each one moved without aggression, yet with an intensity of focus, as though aware of the humans' every motion. The alien fleet recorded the images with awe and dread, for the beings here were clearly intelligent, their movements too deliberate to be chance, and their eyes glowing with the same light as the crystal from the previous cavern. Far ahead, a great structure began to form from the haze, its outline sharp, yet shifting its material somewhere between stone and light. Spiraling towers rose from a wide base that seemed anchored to nothing, suspended in the glowing fluid, as though held in place by will alone. The humans swam closer, and the alien science team detected a resonance between the structure and the devices the humans had used to scan the crystal before. The readings spiked suddenly, as though the structure had recognized them. A ripple passed through the water-like medium, and the creatures surrounding the humans shifted position, forming a loose circle that slowly closed inward. The human leader held out both hands, signaling for the crew to remain calm as the largest of the creatures approached, its body long and flowing like a ribbon of light, its face almost human in shape yet without features. It stopped inches from the leader, and a wave of light pulsed through the water, touching every diver. At once the alien fleet received a burst of strange signals, incomprehensible yet patterned like a language. Some of the alien linguists began trying to decode it, while others argued that it might be more than speech, perhaps a direct exchange of thought. The light ribbon creature moved aside, revealing an entrance at the base of the structure. The humans swam inside, while the aliens watched helplessly as their signals weakened. The interior glowed with soft pulsing walls covered in patterns that seemed to flow like living veins. The floor was smooth and warm beneath the divers' feet. Despite the surrounding medium, they walked forward until they reached a central chamber, where a vast sphere floated suspended in the air, glowing with the same rhythm as the storm. Lightning above the sphere, images began to appear, flashing too quickly for the alien observers to track. But the humans seemed to understand, watching intently as scenes of ancient oceans, alien cities, and starfields passed before them. Then the sphere shifted, showing visions of conflict, great battles beneath alien seas, weapons of unimaginable size tearing through ships, creatures fleeing into deep trenches, and finally the image of the crystal cavern from before. Only this time it was whole and untouched, radiating a light that spread through the galaxy. The alien science officer whispered that it was a memory, an ancient history preserved by the beings of this place, perhaps a warning, or perhaps an invitation. The humans stepped closer and placed their hands on the sphere. The glow intensified, filling the chamber, until the feed from the alien fleet went completely white. When the image cleared, the humans were back on their ship, emerging from the storm into calm waters, as if nothing had happened. Yet their vessel carried a new energy signature, one that matched neither human nor alien technology. The alien captain demanded to know what they had brought back, but the human leader only smiled and said they had been given a map, not just of the planet, but of something far larger, something that stretched between worlds. Hidden in oceans across the galaxy. The alien crew fell silent, understanding that whatever the humans had found would change everything, and that the real danger was not the creatures or the depths, but the fact that humans now knew where to look next. The human divers now stood on the ocean floor in a wide, open space, surrounded by alien architecture that glowed faintly with light coming from unknown sources. The alien captain, watching through the human feed, could hardly believe what he was seeing, because the structures looked far too organized to be natural, and yet they stretched endlessly in every direction. The ocean here felt more like an alien city than a wilderness. The humans walked forward slowly and carefully scanning everything with their devices and pointing to markings etched into walls that had been there for thousands, maybe millions of years. The translator AI worked quickly decoding symbols and sending them to the alien ship. In orbit, the words that appeared on their screen sent a shiver through every alien officer reading them, for they were not warnings, they were invitations. One human spoke clearly into his helmet microphone, saying that the markings told of a civilization older than the galaxy itself, one that had lived beneath oceans across countless worlds, hidden from the stars, waiting for a time when others would come and find them. The alien captain asked why they would wait, and the human simply said, "Because the deep protects and the deep remembers." A sudden movement from the shadows made everyone tense. A massive shape emerged from behind one of the structures, its body long and sleek with fins that shimmered like living silver. Its eyes locked onto the humans, but instead of attacking, it moved closer, slowly circling them and releasing low pulses that vibrated through the water. The human commander did not back away, instead raising a hand in what seemed like a gesture of greeting. To the alien observers, this was madness. They knew what ocean predators could do, but the humans did not act like prey. They acted like neighbors. The creature stopped in front of the human commander, then dipped its head slightly and swam forward, leading them toward a glowing archway. The humans followed without hesitation. Beyond the archway was a vast chamber, even larger than the alien defense station above the planet. The walls were covered in carvings showing ocean life, both familiar and strange, but also scenes of starships and space travel, somehow linked with water. The carvings told of how this ancient ocean race had once traveled between worlds using currents hidden in the fabric of space itself. They had mapped the deep between stars. The humans took readings and recorded every detail, their excitement clear even through the distortion of the water. The alien captain could not help but wonder what they were planning to do with this knowledge. But he also noticed something else. The alien crew, who had been terrified of the planet, were now leaning closer to the screens, their fear slowly turning into curiosity. Then the human commander placed a small device on the ground and activated it. A hologram appeared showing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy, with certain planets highlighted. The alien captain recognized some of them as worlds known to be dangerous ocean planets, where expeditions had vanished without trace. The human commander explained that these were not dead worlds, but protected worlds, homes of the same ancient race. And if the galaxy respected them, there could be peace and knowledge beyond anything they had ever known. A deep rumble echoed through the water. The silver creature swam forward again, releasing a burst of light from its body, and as the light spread, the water seemed to clear, revealing dozens, maybe hundreds of other creatures watching from the shadows, some huge, some small, all of them glowing faintly in patterns that looked like language. The humans stood calmly among them, as if surrounded by old friends. The alien captain realized in that moment that the humans were not simply exploring, they were building a bridge between species, between fear and understanding, between the stars and the depths. He wondered if perhaps this was the real reason humans had come here, not for resources, not for territory, but to prove that even in the most feared places there could be connection. One of the glowing creatures swam up to the human commander and pressed its forehead gently against the human helmet, then turned and swam upward toward the surface. The rest began to follow, and the humans took it as their signal to leave. They made their way back to their submersible and began the journey to the surface, carrying data, recordings, and the trust of an ancient people. When they broke through the waves, the alien fleet was still there waiting. The alien captain opened a channel and asked quietly what they had found. The human commander smiled through the wet visor and said, "We found life, we found friends, and we found that the stories were wrong. The ocean is not a place of death. It is a place of beginnings." The alien crew listened in silence as the human ship ascended into orbit, their minds turning over what they had witnessed. The fear that had once gripped them now felt smaller, weaker, almost foolish. Perhaps the galaxy was larger and stranger than they had ever believed, and perhaps humans were the ones willing to walk into the unknown to show everyone else the truth. As the human ship prepared to jump away, the alien captain gave one last message, saying that if the ancient ocean race ever needed allies, they would answer. Humans had proven that courage was not about power or weapons, but about the willingness to step forward when everyone else turned back. The human commander nodded, then the ship vanished into the stars, leaving the alien fleet in orbit over a world that no longer seemed cursed, but sacred. The alien captain knew that stories of this day would spread across the galaxy, and that in time the name of the humans would be spoken not with fear, but with respect, for they had done what no one else dared. They had swum in the deep and returned with the light.